So it finishes Milan 4, Liverpool 2. Gav Marcotti still with us, but let's start off, shall we, with Mr. Liverpool?
Well, I think you see the goals. To me, that's down to pre-season. You know, they got outpaced. Milan broke well on them and did them with pace and with legs. And so it's a pre-season game, and you don't expect everybody to be 100%. And I think you saw that in the particularly the first goal with Van Dijk. You know, Van Dijk normally, he's coming across, he's closing that down, and it's not a goal. It's probably not even a shot at goal. So I have no problem with it. There was a lot of changes. As I said, Gabriele was playing centre-back as well to begin with. You got the young kid, Stevenson, at right back. Gomaha was playing as well. You know, Martin's in the middle of the park.
Yes, all right, we can see all that. How did Wirtz play?
He did fine. He had some good passes, some good movement. But, you know, he did about as much as we'd expect him to do at this early stage.
Wow, he's very forgiving, Stevie. Manchester United draw 0-0 with Leeds, and we got days out of that because they look so flat here.
Well, that's up to you. Yeah, it's probably because you just kept beating the drum.
Right.
This is a pre-season
just turn
game.
the page, forget about it, don't worry about it.
100%,
move on. Don't
absolutely.
even bother discussing it further.
Not really, no.
Right,
Well,
Ali, should we discuss it further?
Well, let's discuss Florian Wirtz and playing as a false nine, which could be a role that he could have with Liverpool, but in my estimation would not be the best role for him in Liverpool. And I think is a product of being the first game of preseason and who's available and who can play certain positions. But what we saw from Florian Wirtz at his best in this particular game is, can I get in positions in which I put a question in the minds of defender? Do I step into that space, or is that the responsibility of the tracking midfielders? When he was able to do that, and then he was on the half turn and he's going at defenders, is when he nearly found Harvey Elliott in behind. That is a good example of what Florian Wirtz can do for Liverpool. The other new player, Jeremy Frimpong. What we saw from him in the second 45 minutes when he came on is exactly what he was at Bayer Leverkusen. All of it. They're getting him behind, dynamic, active. He's going to find the spaces in behind. He's going to get himself in good position. That first touch to get around the defender as that ball is coming over the top, ideal. But then he gets in the 18-yard box or around the 18-yard box, and things change for him. That second touch was not nearly as ideal. Took him to a wider area, and then there was time and space for him to continue to drive towards goal. He decides to take a shot from a tight angle, opportunity gone. So many times he got around defenders, it was time to find a cross. The cross wasn't quite there. And so if you're a Liverpool fan, then do you pay attention to the fact that he's always getting himself in dangerous position, that he has a change of pace, or do you pay attention at the final product? It really is what you want to pay attention to when it comes to Jeremy Frimpong, because he can be dangerous. Does that mean that he can be productive? That's a different question.
There was no Luis Diaz in the squad. Obviously, a lot of rumours about his future away from Liverpool. This is what Arne Slot had to say about
that. In Lucio's situation, it was, yeah. There's a lot of rumours around him lately, and I cannot go into that. But he's training really well with us, but we've decided for now not to play him yet. And in Darwin's situation, he's trained also really well and played a few good games for us already this season. But he was injured, so we didn't want to take the risk.
Diaz is off, yeah. Bayern, Gab?
Yeah, well, just like, what do you want him to say? Like, we don't want to take a chance with Darwin and Diaz because we need to sell them so that we can go and sign Alexander Isak. Is that? I mean, it would have been cool if he said that. No, look, I think Bayern have been in for him for a while. I think it's a question of from Bayern's perspective it's a question of reaching a deal that makes sense. I would have thought. I mean, I haven't reported too closely on this, but given the situation, I would have thought that this might have gotten wrapped a little bit quicker. I don't know if there's been a hiccup along the way. But there's no question that he fits what Bayern wants right now.
What about Nunez? Where's he going to end up, Cam?
It's a better question. Darwin Nunez has been so savaged by the media, and of course he costs so much money, that right now it's almost like he's toxic. you talk to some people, and they say Darwin Nunez at the right price could do a very good job for many Premier League teams because he does a lot of other things that maybe don't necessarily involve scoring or maybe wasn't the right fit for Arne Slot or indeed Jurgen Klopp before him. I would assume that at this stage it gets more and more difficult, and maybe you can find a spot for him abroad. It may be that you take a loss on him, and it may be that he has to take a step back on his wages to make it happen. But where I live in England, he's become almost a figure of fun, which isn't really fair to him, despite his underperformance. But yeah, I think they would have to look to shift him, and if not, you go back to Arne and say, listen, make it work, have him help. We need a center forward. You won the title with Darwin Nunez last year. Now we've added Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong. Figure out a way to go and then that Ekitike fell as well. So figure out a way to make it happen.